Hello and welcome back to another video feature of the Immersive Worlds Handbook. Today I titled this video A Cabinet of Curiosities as I am at Paxton Gate in Portland, Oregon. I have to say quite generally that if you haven't been to Portland, Oregon and you study themed and immersive spaces, you need to get on a plane or bus or get in the car and get to Portland. Portland has a slew of interesting spaces, and Paxton Gate perhaps is one of the most interesting ones. It's curious to note that this particular store, which is it's hard to even classify it as a store in the traditional sense, started actually in San Francisco. I haven't been to the Paxton Gate there on Market Street in San Francisco, but I hear that it's equally interesting. This is their website. And by the way, I have to say, love the website, love the font. I think the font really fits what they're doing here at this curious store. So here in Portland, if you have a chance, again, to go to a store like Paxton Gate, and also you might check out my video on Flutter, you'll probably note that this store really does fit in with that sense of eclecticism, the sense of the avant-garde, the sense of the subcultural that many people have identified in Portland's ethos as a city. I'm actually reminded in looking at Paxton Gate of the show Portlandia, which I happen to love and was watching, kind of binge watching during my a few days that I spent in Portland recently in 2017. And there's a little skit they do where they go to a store, and the particular store is selling medical items for men, like beakers and stuff, who want to, decorate their home with medical items. And it seemed kind of ludicrous, but if you've been to Paxton Gate, you say, well, wait a second, that actually kind of looks a little bit or sounds a little bit like this store. It's hard to put this store in context. This is a shot of the outside, and this, like a lot of these other stores I visited, is absolutely marvelous in terms of its design, in terms of its interior spaces, how it's lays out its material culture. So basically, it's a combination of a variety of different types of goods, ranging from curiosities of the natural world. In fact, many of the things you see right here in this window shot, you might see in a natural history museum or something like this. Just look at this display as you walk into the store. So you have everything from ethically sourced taxidermy to botanicals. Here's a shot here of taxidermy, various artwork that you see on the wall, crystals, insects for sale, the taxidermy version of insects. And by the way, I read on their website, they have quite a bit about their mission. They mentioned that they try as much as possible to ethically source their taxidermy animals. And they make the point that if they have a really old piece, in some cases they maybe can't determine how the animal was killed or the circumstances and so forth. And I'm not an expert on ethical taxidermy, but clearly that fits in with this overall ethos in Portland, Oregon, in terms of the politics. You saw some skulls there. Here's their wonderful collection of insects, bugs, I guess you might call them if you're not a scientist. But again, you walk into the store and you think, wow, what the heck is going on here? Here's some of the book display. It is as eclectic as it gets. And to me, it's almost a combination of store and mini museum. You see the gardening equipment here. Even these shovels and the gardening equipment, right, has this really cool material appeal to it as you see the plants in the background. Here's some people. I mean, just look at how all the botanicals are arranged. I mean, it's just a really marvelous collection. It's a store that you go in and you just absolutely feel like almost at home with, even if you're not in. And I have to say, I'm not into any of these particular things that they sell, but I felt at home here because there was something welcoming about the spirit of the store. And maybe it was just the simple fact that I was totally not expecting to see what I saw in this store. There really is nothing like it. Now, again, there are stores in Portland that have all sorts of things that are reminiscent of what you see here at Paxton Gate. We'll look at some more still shots I took here. There's a lot of artwork for sale. Again, all of this has a feel of, something like minerals, the natural world, animals. These obviously could be very nice decor pieces if you had a theme going on in your home. And we shouldn't forget that theme spaces often, could be. There are those beakers I mentioned from these were not featured in the Portlandia skit. But when I saw this, I walked in the store, I said, oh my God, that is totally reminiscent of that. There's almost like a Victorian steampunk thing going on if you look at those items up there, which are pretty amazing. I just saw those now and I'm like, man, those are out of this world. I wonder how much those are. The wildebeest is $1,200, but there's a price tag there. But definitely have a steampunk Victorian aesthetic going on. This appears to be paper, rolled paper that you can purchase. Again, everything having this natural history, almost connection. If you look at everything in this store, you're not going to find, say, technology, or things of that nature, right? It has a focus on the natural world. You see that in terms of the color choices and the design of the store. Just overall, anywhere you look, right, it is a true cabinet of curiosities. And I think a lot of the people I noted walking through the store had this maybe similar sense of fascination that I had when I entered Paxton Gate. I was thinking, what the heck is this store? And you just wanted to linger there. You just wanted to stay because of its eclecticism. And I will have to definitely visit the store in San Francisco when I make it back to the city. Here's some video I shot. I haven't had a chance to look at this, but we'll watch it together. We're looking at the botanicals. You see succulents. You see all sorts of cool vases and interesting knickknacks and curios and things related to these botanical specimens that you could, purchase, put in your own home. And just look at the layout of this. Again, there's something quite enchanting about the color scheme here, the natural tone, the woods that you see. There isn't, like in this store, I'm trying to see if there's any metal. You see maybe bits of metal on fixtures, but it really does have a feel to it, right? Like there's a consistency here. It reminds me in some ways of some of the stores I visited in Berlin, not the content of what's there, but the overall approach to consistency and trying to develop an organic vision of what that store is. And you see some of the knickknacks there you can purchase. More of the taxidermy, the skulls. I didn't see anyone buying the taxidermy while I was there, but I was really curious, like, well, who would buy some of these items? And just going out the door, you might also note some of the information here kind of, speaks of the politics of people in Portland. So this will bring our tour of Paxton Gate here in Portland, Oregon to a close. If you're in Portland, check the store out. Again, not just if you're interested in the natural world, but if you study theming and immersion, you have to check out Paxton Gate. So check it out when you get a chance. And of course, as always, please come back for additional video features of the Immersive World's Handbook.